Hashtag Stop Galamsey Now is still on. Hello, good afternoon. This is the Midday News. The Midday News is live on Joy 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM in Accra. We are also on Love 99.5 in Kumasi and on myjoyonline.com. You can also find us in all 16 regions of Ghana on X Spaces and on Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. Coming up, police launch investigations into fire outbreak at the Kiman cluster of schools, destroying electoral materials at the heart of a disputed Ablekuma North parliamentary elections.
Yes, around midnight, we got wind of what was happening. So we came around and there was the police and then one fire tender.
More as a security analyst blames the Electoral Commission, accusing it of negligence in safeguarding the ballot papers. Also in this bulletin, NDC minority demands answers over deaths recorded during the just-ended elections, requesting brief from both the defense and interior ministers.
Loss of lives during elections should not become a norm. Our elections should not always record the loss of Ghanaian lives. Mr. Speaker, it's becoming one too many.
We have details as the Defense Minister Dominic Nitu says the IGP is the one who can answer those questions as he's the head of the Election Security Task Force.
The day of before elections, the election and after election is the security people who are in charge, led by the Inspector General of Police. And so if the Speaker thinks that they want to call the election security to come and brief this house, it cannot be ministers.
There are calls growing for the retention of Alban Bagbin as Speaker of Parliament as a majority leader. Afenyo Makin urges the incoming NDC administration to put him forward for the position a second time.
If they sack you, Mr. Speaker, of all that you've done for them, they are going to sack you. Of all that Mr. Speaker has done for you, you are going to sack Mr. Speaker. We will see.
What's up in sports?
Ghana Premier League defending champions FC Samatex part ways with coach Nuruddin Amadou. Plus, English FA suspends Chelsea's Mikhailo Mudryk over failed drug test.
And the countdown is on for this year's biggest Christmas celebration. The JoyFM family party in the park promises an exciting live band experience with performances by Kwabna and many more ready to thrill revelers.
After 20 years, if it is not done, members will be embarking on strike, and it means that the academic year that is supposed to start on the 13th of January.
We have the whole park to ourselves on that day, to give people that freedom and that's enough space to bond, to chat, and to have everything.
Everywhere is green. Oh, what fun it is to walk on the road with glasses on. Oh.
I'll bring you the story and more on this bulletin. This is Joy News, your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. I am Hannah Odame. Thanks for staying with us. Pupils of the Kiman cluster of schools in the Ablekuma North constituency have been asked to go home as investigations get underway into a fire outbreak in the school's library where electoral materials had been kept. The ongoing end-of-term examination has also been suspended as the investigations get underway into the incident. The school also served as a storage center for election materials for the 2024 parliamentary and presidential elections, all of which were destroyed in the fire. In the last hour, the police has issued a statement announcing commencement of investigations. We'll bring you that statement shortly, but first, here is a report filed by my colleague, Frimpong Collins at Kiman.
The sad incident happened around 1 a.m. today, according to an eyewitness. Kiman cluster of schools, the school which housed the election materials for the parliamentary and presidential elections in the Ablekuma North constituency, was set ablaze. Facilities such as the library, which house the materials themselves, as well as the science lab and also the ICT lab, were all set ablaze. An eyewitness gave an account of what transpired.
Around midnight, we got wind of what was happening. So we came around, and there was the police and then one fire tender. Obviously, it is the ballot papers that were being stored here, because behind me, behind the wall, we have discovered ballot papers that have been bent. This is where the others were also being kept. So generally that's our suspicion.
What we are seeing here, the ground floor, was the place that the ballot papers, everything were kept.
Exactly. After the elections, all the polling stations, we saw them come in taxis, and they were coming with all the electoral materials.
The headmistress, who spoke to Joy News off air, told Joy News that the school management have taken a decision to allow the students to go home today, even though they were expected to write exams and vacate on Thursday. They await the decision from the Municipal Director of Education. Security officials, including the police and the fire service, have begun investigations into the matter. Ablekuma North constituency is one of the constituencies that collation is yet to be completed officially.
Well, we know that the Electoral Commission has halted the collation of election results in that constituency temporarily due to the security concerns and threats to the EC officials. However, both parties are claiming victory in that constituency. Someone who knows that place very well because she covered the constituency for Joy News on election day is Jacqueline Asomaya Boa. She joins me. Now, how would you describe events on the night of that collation day?
Well, Hannah, it was very chaotic. That's on the night the polls closed and the results were being collated. I received a call about a tear gas incident at the Kwashiman cluster of schools. I rushed to the scene to find out that, it was the place was full of chaos that night. And my investigation revealed that that location, that's the Kwashiman cluster of schools, used to serve as a collation center in previous elections. So most people came there thinking that was what the collation center was. So there was a pepper spray incident which I followed up, and it was resolved later on. So it was very chaotic that night.
Wow, that's Jacqueline there. She was there on that night, and we know that it's trending, so you join us later because Kwashiman is trending currently. Well, we told you earlier that the police has issued a statement on this particular incident, and my colleague Kenneth JC will be joining us later with statements from the Ghana Police Service. But let's move on. And the National Democratic Congress is, however, asking the police to fast-track investigations, insisting the party won the parliamentary seat. Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer is the Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the NDC.
It's an unfortunate situation. It has come to our knowledge, and we think the fire service and the Ghana Police Service will speed up the process of investigating the fire to unravel the mystery behind it, whether it's arson or it's just a natural cause. We want to get the report from them to ascertain the truth. But our guess is as good as mine, because we are very clear in our mind that we won the seat fairly. The returning officer declared us as the winners of the constituency. They see that there's no room for any regulation whatsoever. Our opponents are forcing for regulation and pushing for regulation. We are against it. That's why we've gone to court. We filed a writ in court to stop the Electoral Commission from continuing any process of regulating any of the constituencies that we have won. So we are very clear in our mind.
Meanwhile, security analyst Kenel Festus Abuaji says the Electoral Commission must take responsibility for the incident, stating they have been negligent with security.
Election material, these ballot papers, of course including the devices that we use, are materials that need to be safely stored for a period of time in case there are legal issues before the courts. And for instance, the courts direct that some ballot papers or ballot boxes in ballot papers in ballot boxes must be recounted. So therefore, the EC's calculation of the safety and security of these materials is not only before the elections. When these materials, we all were told, were stored at police armories, from where they were then distributed. Now, this is one clear case where the EC, rather than take responsibility for negligence and dereliction of duty, says I'm not responsible for security. But why do you store election materials, whether in a lab or science lab, whatever it is, where people go in and out, when that particular locality is in dispute? I mean, what calculations inform the EC to negligently allow these boxes to be stored at a place where people can commit arson? So it is, after so many election cycles, one would have thought that the EC, or by this time we as a people, would have designated or come to a common agreement that after elections, materials must be stored at police stations, which was where they were before we went for the elections. So it's seriously a dereliction of duty.
That was Colonel Festus Abuaje. He is a security analyst. We told you the police says they are investigating this particular incident at the Kwashima cluster of schools. What more is contained in that statement by the police, Kenneth?
Well, the Ghana police says it's in partnership with the Ghana National Fire Service investigating the fire outbreak that occurred in the early hours of today, the 17th of December, at Kwashiman cluster of schools, where the Ablekuma North constituency ballot papers are housed. It says it wishes to assure the public that any individual or group of individuals found responsible for this incident will be arrested and brought to face justice. It is urging the public to remain calm as investigation into the incident continues. It says that meanwhile, the 132 suspects arrested across the country in connection with the post-election disturbances are still ongoing or going through the due process of the law. Those are details contained in that police statement, Hannah.
Thank you very much, Kenneth. Now talking about fire, let's go to Kumasi because a devastating fire has ravaged the section of the racecourse market in Kumasi, destroying over 30 shops. The blaze, which started at around 1 a.m. on Tuesday, consumed metal containers and wood shops owned by traders in watermelon, grapes and cold store operators. The Ghana Fire Service has dispatched 3 fire engines to battle the flames and also prevent further damage. While no casualties were reported, the fire has left many of the traders devastated after they lost their livelihoods. Later in other bulletins, we'll bring you details of that fire in Kumasi. Let's go to other stories. And the NDC minority is demanding urgent answers over the deaths recorded during the just-ended election. At least 3 persons died during the 2024 election and its aftermath, while at least 8 died in the year 2020. Tamale North MP Alhassan Suhini says election-related deaths must not be normalized, demanding that the Defense and Interior Ministers provide answers to the House.
Consider, even though the time is so short, space for a security briefing on the elections that has just taken place. Mr. Speaker, this government may not have the opportunity again to speak to this nation on how well or not they have handled security, especially in relation to the just ended elections. Mr. Speaker, I think this is important because loss of lives during elections should not become a norm. Our elections should not always record the loss of Ghanaian lives. Mr. Speaker, it's becoming one too many. The first time we recorded this was in the 2020 general elections, where about 6 to 7 lives were lost after the elections. 7 to 8 lives. Mr. Speaker, just this election that has gone by, we are told of about 2 or 3 lives that have been lost. Mr. Speaker, indeed, as we speak, a family in Tolong, in Yankpala, is preparing for a funeral tomorrow with about 15 others nursing various degrees of injuries.
Tamale North MP Alhassan Suhini there. In a sharp response, Minister for Defense Dominic Nitewol suggested that he and the Interior Minister have no answers as to what happened. He directed the minority to seek answers from the IGP since he was in charge of election security.
We as a country agreed from 2008 that ministers of state, government functionaries, including the MMDs, so municipal chief executives, the DCEs, ministers of state, government officials, members of parliament cannot and should not be in charge of security when it comes to election matters. It should be left to the purview of the security services led by the police. So at the national level, it is the Inspector General of Police who is in charge of the security, the committee that oversees the security when it comes to election purposes. And at the district, regional level, it is the regional police commander who is in charge of it. And at district level, it is the district police commander who's in charge of it. And so that's how it is. There's an election committee at the national, at the regional, and at the district. If you are calling the Minister for Interior, he would just simply come and tell you he was not in charge of it. Is that?
Well, let's go to Parliament now and find out what's happening there. Kweku Asante, parliamentary correspondent, joins us. Kweku, what can we expect regarding the mini budget and any other thing that's on the table today?
Well, that appears to be the big business that the House will have to consider before it goes for Christmas break. We are expecting the Finance Minister to lay a paper for the approval of 68.1 billion Ghana cedis that government will be looking to spend between January and March of 2025 before John Dramani Mahama will present his first budget. That was expected to be done yesterday. It wasn't done because the Finance Minister himself was not around. And we expect that he will come and lay this paper today. It will be referred to the Budget Committee of the House. They will consider same and present a report to Parliament. And that is the big business that the House will be required to do before it takes a break.
So tell us more about those bills that have to be read before the 8th Parliament rises.
Well, there are a number of bills that the government was looking forward to lay, in particular the free SHS bill and others. But the Speaker's directive from yesterday means that all that will not be done, because the House clearly understands that they are not in the position to take all these bills because of the limited time that they have to sit between now and Friday and maybe early next week before they go for Christmas and return early next year to swear in the new Parliament. But there are a number of bills that have already gone through the system that must be dealt with. There's the Ghana Boundary Commission Bill, the Social Protection Bill, the Budget Bill, Environmental Protection Bill, as well as the Social Protection Bill 2023. These bills have gone through the mill. Some of them are the second reading, some of them are the third reading. If they are able to deal with them, they can pass them. If they are unable to pass them, they will expire with the 8th Parliament. And if any government that comes after 7th January intends to actually put these bills back before the House, the bills would have to be started afresh from the first reading.
Interesting there, Kweku Asante, Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent. Thank you very much. Now, President-elect John Dramani Mahama has announced plans to implement reforms aimed at enhancing fiscal responsibility and curbing unilateral debt accumulation by the Finance Minister. A key proposal involves reforming the Debt Management Division of the Ministry of Finance into an independent and transparent office, ensuring accountability in the management of the country's debts. Speaking during a meeting with members of the Association of Ghana Industries, he criticized the outgoing government for what he described as parochial mistakes and assured that his incoming administration will not repeat same.
I think that this government made many critical mistakes. Many of them, I'll say, were parochial, because if they had allowed a little more transparency, opened a more listening ear, they probably would not have made some of the fatal mistakes that they made. And so that serves as a lesson to the incoming government to make sure that we have an open ear and a transparent manner of approaching things. We will consult with the captains of industry and business regularly so that we know what your concerns are, and then we'll address those concerns together. We probably would not have borrowed as rapidly as was done and sink ourselves into a debt hole. And so, but these are mistakes that have been made that we must use as lessons, for the future.
The President-elect also talked about reforms to procurement laws to prioritize locally made products in government spending.
We also want to look at how we can use government's financial muscle to help made in Ghana goods, that is, industries producing in Ghana. Government is the biggest spender in the economy. I mean, why we will always easily run to go and import things when we have even better quality of those goods locally, I cannot understand. And so for me, it's not if. We must get all the goods that are made in Ghana, we must fix competitive prices, and we must give a caveat that
Well, Maxwell Agbagba was in that meeting and joins us live on the phone lines with more. Now, Maxwell, we know the President-elect has also been talking about innovative financing for key infrastructural projects. What more did he say about that?
We cannot go to the international capital market. We must look at build, operate, and transfer innovative ways of financing and investing in critical infrastructure like railways, roads, and others, Hannah?
We believe that we should continue the innovative financing model that we brought up. Because we cannot go on to the international capital market, we must look more at BOTs and other such innovative financing where people bring in their investment and put the infrastructure in, run it for 20, 30 years, and after that transfer when they have made their investment. We need to do the railways, we need to fix the roads and the highways and all that, and many other infrastructure developments that we need to do. I believe that we can get people who have the investment, if we do proper feasibility studies, to come and put in the infrastructure and run it and hand over to us at the appropriate time.
Well, Maxwell is still with us. Tell us about the meeting the president-elect had with the U.S. ambassador to Ghana.
Well, key amongst what came up was the Millennium Challenge Corporation grant, and he said Ghana's energy sector was more resilient than it was before the MCC, and that it was just the final part Ghana could not complete. He said he had opportunity to discuss with the MCC when he visited the U.S. He talked about the possibility of wrapping up that part of the corporation, and says it is if the NDC comes into office after 7th January, that's one of the things that they'll be looking at. The conversation also focused on security and agriculture.
Thank you very much, Maxwell Agbagba. You're still listening to the Midday News live on Joy 99.7 FM, on Hits 103.9 FM in Accra, and Love 99.5 FM. Stories Gone By Police has launched investigations into fire outbreak at the Kwashiman cluster of schools that destroyed electoral materials. Now, when we come back, there is CITAC issuing a fresh strike warning, threatening to once again disrupt the academic calendar of the country's colleges of education.
If they sack you, just because.
And the countdown is on for this year's biggest Christmas celebration, the JoyFM Family Party in the Park, which promises an exciting live band experience with performances by Kobna Kobna and more, ready to thrill revelers.
We have the whole park to ourselves on that day. To give people that freedom and that's enough space to bond, to chat, and to have everything.
Everywhere is green. Oh, what fun it is to walk on the road with glasses on. Oh.
Where did I? Now I don't know many just sir. Obiang, what to chrome her? And to want to say petrol sulfur energizing drinks for motion. Hey boy.
Petrosol are celebrating their 10 years in grand style. They're giving back to their loyal customers. Hope you have registered at their online portal. Don't say I didn't tell you, oh.
Each month, customers will stand a chance of winning items like tricycles, motorcycles, television sets, refrigerators, phones, fuel vouchers, and many more. But the best part is that at the end of the promo, we will be giving out a grand prize of 2 Suzuki Espresso cars to lucky winners who stay with us all through the promo period. All you need to join is to visit any of our over 100 stations across the country to get registered, or go to www.petrosolcrm.com to register online.
Petrosol, energizing dreams.
And it's time for sports. Mubarak is here.
Yes, Hannah, Coach Nuruddin Amadu has left his role as head coach of GPO defending champions FC Samatex. It is understood Amadu departed by mutual consent after a poor run of form, including 3 straight defeats. Assistant coach Henry Wellington will take charge temporarily until a substantive appointment is made. Now, before I go, troubling news for Chelsea as their forward Mikhailo Mudryk has been provisionally suspended from all forms of football activities by the English FA following a positive drug test. Mudrik, who now faces a potential ban of up to 4 years, described the news as a complete shock and added he did nothing wrong. Back to you, Hannah.
Thank you very much, Mubarak, with sports. Some education stories. The colleges of education across the country could face another disruption to their academic calendar as the colleges of education teachers have issued a fresh strike warning. CITAC accuses governments of failing to implement staff migration and pay compensation for all year-round work as directed by the National Labour Commission last year. The teachers have set Friday as the deadline for government to fulfill its obligations or face significant industrial action. Let's hear from President of CITAC, Maxwell Bunu.
And to be unfortunate that after these several meetings and promises, they wouldn't get it. So we're using this medium to appeal to them that they have made countless promises regarding these key issues that are outstanding, and that they get it done for us. Of course, we know that the current government will be hesitant. A new government is also coming in. So we want to appeal to both governments so that they can collaborate and get this done. Because after 20 years, if it is not done, members will be embarking on strike. And it means that the academic year that is supposed to start on the 13th of January 2025, there is no way any college teacher is currently prepared psychologically to go to the classroom to teach. And it means that if that happens, the incoming government will also be affected. That is why I'm appealing to them also, especially the transition team, who will be listening to us, that they should also take steps to work together with the current government to get the college teacher migrated.
That was President of CITAC, Maxwell Bunu there. 2 men have been killed and 5 others are in critical condition following a violent clash between residents of Ninahini Kasutie in the Ashanti region and a group of heavily built men alleged to have stormed the town to steal excavator parts and gold deposits. The situation escalated when some youth resisted their operations, leading to exchange of gunfire. The incident has heightened tensions in the town, sparking protests by residents and local authorities. The assembly member for the Chichere electoral area, Samuel Ayeni, confirmed the incident to Joy News.
We need help in Yinehini. There is tension in the community and we want peace. They are burning cars and destroying properties. The heavily built men posed as military men and came into the community, but they are thieves. Government should release the military and police to intervene swiftly.
You heard there the assembly member for Chichere speaking to Joy News, and it's time for M&J.
Yes, Hannah.
Are you missing your partner?
Of course, I'm missing myself very well.
Soon you get to hear from him. You were telling us earlier about Kiman.
Yes, Hannah, I was. I mean,
What's
it's still
trending
trending on social media. You know, the videos of the fire service. I mean, I'm trying to put out the fire.
Yeah.
Someone, Mike, says that, so how can this pim of water quench this fire? And Adam says that because someone wants to go to Parliament, you have to sacrifice our school blocks for the person. And away from that, family party in the park.
We have to unwind.
I mean, this year I'm going. Last year I didn't, but this year I'm ripping.
You have to. I was there last year.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going this year. But yesterday, Max Fuga was with Lexus, and he was speaking about the things we should expect this year. Let's take a listen.
Great.
You've been working whole year. You've been moving out of the house early, coming back late the whole year. This is the time.
Yeah.
The family is everything. The family is everything. And for once this year, take the family out.
Yeah.
And we are providing you that opportunity to be out with the family on December 26th at the Bri Botanical Gardens as usual. And please note, we have the whole park to ourselves on that day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So
the
I'm sure
whole botanical garden.
The whole botanical gardens.
Wow.
To give people that freedom and that's enough space to bond, to chat, and to have everything. And as usual, like I said, we bring in the Daddy's Corner has been rebranded. Live Band Corner.
The Live Band Corner. Oh, my goodness. My favorite place.
Oh, yes. And it's going to be branded by Velton's Beer.
Oh,
So everything you want will be there. And as usual, the grills will come with it.
If you didn't know, this live band corner started off with a very interesting name, the Beer
Village.
The Beer Village.
The live band is my favorite.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see that. And I mean, this year, Camilo is on board. That I'm expecting to witness this performance.
Looks like you have to be there from dawn to that.
Yes, I will be.
You'll have to be there. Tell us about the date again.
It's 26th December.
And
yes, at a brief botanical
a family of 5 will pay 200 cedis.
200 cedis.
Just come to the front desk of JoyFM. That's it for the news with me, Hannah Odame. You find all these stories and more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Living Word with Dr. Mensa Otabil is up next, and today he's talking about living for